I'm out here in New York State today, and I'm with Michael Gerard, who has his new ROV and two backup ROVs this time. If you've seen the previous video in Philip's Mine, you'll know why we always have backup ROVs. And we're getting unloaded and ready to head up to the sunk mine to answer a really important question, and that's how far does the mine extend to the southwest? And the mine is collapsed in the southwest workings, but I found a map from the 1970s that shows a tunnel extending off to the southwest, and in the tunnel there's a winze with water at the bottom, and beyond the winze there's a question mark, and no one knows how far it extends. There's no information on this at all. So we're gonna attempt to take the ROV, set it in the water inside the main part of the mine, and go under the collapse to see if we could find this winze, and maybe even pop it up out of the water to see if there's airspace beyond this collapse. So we're on a mission today to find this lost part of the mine, and we may even try going northeast to see how far it extends in that direction, because we know that this mine is really extensive and there's a lot more under the water than is shown on the 1880s maps. So let's see, Mike, do you have any thing to add about today?
Well, I'm just excited because there's so much space in there to explore, and we barely saw the tip of the iceberg there. So I'm glad we're going to get back and say we have new goal that may open up some new sections that people thought in the past we could never get to. So this is going to be exciting and really interesting, and glad that we got the old ROV back in the water and functioning again.
So the ROV that died at Philip's Mine has been repaired, or did it just start working again?
Nope, it was a tether, so the tether just had to be replaced, and the company actually covered me for it. They sent me a brand new tether, and so back on board. So nothing wrong with the ROV, which is glad to hear. I'm glad to hear, because it shows it's dependable, and the company is also dependable behind their products.
Yeah, that's great. We did do some ROVing in sunk mine last year in the main shaft in the workings, but it was so full of collapsed timbers and all sorts of obstacles that we were not able to find the bottom of sunk mine and find out how deep it is. So now we're going to try to access it through these different winzes, and hopefully we'll know something at the end of the day. All right, so we're walking in on this old rail bed. So this flat area here was once a narrow gauge railroad that went all the way to the sunk mine, and there's evidence of that all the way right to where it ends at one of the tunnels. Of course, there's no train tracks anymore, and you could see on old maps from the 1800s the railroad, but the mine was named for this swamp that it was called the Sunk Lot way before the mine even existed. Maybe even during the time of the Philipsburg Manor, this area was called the Sunk Lot, and the mine was then called the Sunk Mine, and it went by other names as well. But it's today mostly just known as the Sunk Mine.
It keeps me in shape carrying this ROV.
How much does that weigh?
I think it's, with all the stuff inside, maybe 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, so Mike just spotted over here, there's a horse swim, a circular horse swim right here in this collapse section. And why would there be a horse swim there? Well, there must have been a working here that they were removing ore from deep underground. Now this is all collapsed. And I heard that in the 30s or so, when this was turned into a park, there was a superintendent named Superintendent Grimrod who blew up the mine for safety. But in doing so, he created this very unstable, dangerous section right here that we're going to avoid. But this would have been a tunnel under this horse swim, and there would have been cables and a roller to bring ore out of the mine, but we can't access it. The question is, does it connect underground? All the way in the mine, there's a water-filled winze. Does the tunnel run under this section and go past where this horse swim is to the map marked with a question mark? Maybe it does. Maybe we can see a part of the mine that is completely unexplored. So that's what we'll check out first. So while Michael Gerard is getting the ROV ready, let me tell you about last year's ROV run. And we had a pretty good run. Besides getting the ROV tangled in the woodwork, we went down, I believe, 80 feet, which is pretty deep. And it still kept going. If we didn't get tangled, we could have gone farther. But we're not going to go down there today. We're going to focus on the extreme ends of the mine rather than its depth. But going down this shaft that first time was incredible. There were ladders down there. There were all sorts of woodwork. And knowing some of the history of this mine really makes this experience that much more eerie. I know there's a story about Thomas Edison. Actually, Thomas Edison was involved in this mine. I don't remember exactly to what capacity, but I know there was an old story that talked about him inspecting the mine and walking or climbing down the ladders deep into the bottom, into the bowels of the mine. And there were all sorts of pumps going and all sorts of strange, what the writer described as the sounds of some diabolical creature in the bowels of the earth, with all the pumps and the drills. Maybe even having climbed down on the very ladders that we saw with the ROV. It's very possible. This was probably in the late 1870s or 1880s. And the other thing that's kind of eerie, the miners actually would be singing down here. They were really into singing. They would actually rent songbooks. So they didn't have enough money to buy a songbook, but they would rent it. And I think it was like the Forget Me Not songbook or something like that. And they were probably Cornish miners, so they would be singing these songs deep in this mine, and you could imagine what the reverberation and echoes would have sounded like down here where we went with the ROV at the very bottom of the mine. It must have been completely surreal. And maybe someday to recreate that singing in the mine and to record what it would have sounded like would certainly be an amazing project. And we know what songs were sung, so it's something that could be possibly done. But that was an excellent ROV run, besides having the scare of thinking that we had gotten the ROV stuck and lost it. But let's see how Michael Gerard's doing over here, and we'll get down in this section. Okay, it's in. And you're right over the wind, so you can go straight there.
Okay, so let me get it somewhere where I can see what I'm doing. There it is. So that's sideways. That's forward and backwards. Why is that not responding? There's a lot of deoxygenated water. But the only way we're going to kill that, actually ask Peter, look at that.
Wow, that's really eerie.
Okay, whoa. Stuck, there's stuck there. Hold on, let me go up a little.
Oh, problem.
So now we're finding things, right?
Yep, that's a good sign.
Whoa.
Ooh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there's that.
Oh, I think we saw that one.
Yeah.
We're almost to the tape line, so we're almost where we were.
Let me see. That will go up. I'm going forward. I think we might have hit that bottom again. Let's see it. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go.
Okay. We're going farther than we.
Yeah, there we go. Sometimes you gotta kind of wiggle around. Oh, look at that. That's nice.
That might be the end. That's
What is that? That's a wall, but that orange shape there.
Is that a?
It might be collapsed or no, it looks like a
It
wall.
looks like a dead end. Like that looks like the end.
The end. So
Look around a little bit though, because remember up there was a wind that.
that's what I was gonna do. Look up.
Yeah.
can't look
Because
at
that's
it.
how they drove these mines. They did tunnels at different levels and then just kind of connected them as they removed the ore. We pulled the ROV back out and we marked a piece of tape at the farthest point that it could go. So we reached a dead end. So we did find a tunnel, and it was a normal tunnel. It wasn't a stope. It went straight in that direction. We marked a piece of tape. I just measured it roughly with my arm span, and we went 150 feet in that direction. So, but we didn't find anything going up. So the winds on that map must not connect with that tunnel. And there could be another level below that. We don't really know because we went as far down as we could in this spot here. We only went, what was it, like 15 feet down?
It was a little over 4 meters. Really, we haven't really hit the dead end totally. We just hit a dead end on one thing we found. So I like that we found the tunnel. It gave us a little bit smaller space so we could see our surroundings as we went through, and knew that there was nowhere else to go.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the northeast side of the mine and see how far the mine extends underwater to the northeast. So we do know that there's a fault at some point in the mine, and that it shifted the entire ore body, and if you go out of the mine, you could pick up that ore body again, but after the fault. So I'm expecting this part of the mine not to extend as far as we went to the southwest. Okay, that wasn't too bad.
No, not bad at all. It's pretty sturdy. It feels a little flimsy, but it's on there good. I'm not worried.
I don't think I've ever seen one in water before.
Me neither. I didn't think they did water, but he looks like this is natural to him. There you go. We'll go up then. It's like higher. There's the bottom.
There's the floor. Okay, so it's a tunnel, right?
Yeah, let's go up a little bit. Yeah, oh, look at that color.
Wow.
What is
I want to see what's in that tunnel.
All right, let's go up a little so I won't pick stuff up. Doing much progress. Yeah, it might be because of the motors aren't.
Oh, they're D-rate. They're
Because it's low. Yeah, they're probably not getting full thrust.
Oh, that is such a mysterious tunnel, though.
I know, well, you know.
We might have to go back and get the other one. I got to see where this goes. Oh, it does keep going, though. That was the side.
Yeah, we shouldn't go much further. I'm worried it went low, very low on that, and I'm down to 16% already.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, let's just peek around that corner.
Yep. It probably ends. It has to be.
So slow. 15%, I think we might need to turn around.
But I think that's the end.
That is the end, I think. Hold on, let's see.
Just look around and just confirm.
Oh, I can't get any further right now. I think it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think its battery's so low that we're not gonna.
Actually, turn to the right a little bit.
Yeah, look, the battery is dead.
Oh, is it really?
The lights are off.
Oh, the lights are off? Oh my God.
So we really.
That was it. So don't go below 14%.
Yeah, if you see 20% warning, stop.
Yeah.
All right, we went about 150 feet southwest, and we ended up in a tunnel. We kind of closed down. That was a great run. We hit a dead end, but there's more to see that way if we search around that stope. But then going northeast, I think we did about 90 feet, and we found this winding passage. It looked like we hit a dead end, but we're not sure, so we got to come back for that. Plus, we can also go southwest from there too. So a lot more to see, but it was a great run today.